Well, thank you both for joining us today. I know that there's a lot been going on, and so having you all here to talk about some of the things that are happening around the cases for your families, but also, something exciting that's happening this Friday to garner some support. So let's talk about this. This Friday, you all are both organizing, part of organizing Justice in July. And so can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I could go first, and then Cynthia, if you want to add anything. So as you know, Pamela Price is opening 8 cases, right? And she had a deadline that she made, and that is in July, which happens to be this Friday. And
can you explain what the deadline is for?
Yeah, the deadline is for 8 cases that she has chose to reopen to push criminal charges against the police officers. Each of the 8 cases all have their unique and messed up story with encounters with the police. So we're hoping that she does push the criminal charges and that we hear something hopefully by this week, by Thursday or Friday. And so we decided that we were going to have a block party on Friday for this response that she's trying to do. Whether or not she charges them, then we're going to use Friday to kind of like push that. And if she does charge and do criminal charges, then we're just going to like maybe celebrate. So Friday can take a turn, either or, whatever way it goes, whatever her decision is. So we just want to turn up with the families. We have some speakers. We'll be probably emceeing throughout the day. We just booked a taquero. Talking about tacos, we just booked a taquero, so there'll be food and a DJ. And a DJ as well, so there will be music. And yeah, we're just hoping the weather will just stay beautiful and everyone can just come and enjoy spending the day with us.
So just to give folks a context, right? So the previous district attorney, Nancy O'Malley, refused to charge these officers for the death of they have never charged, actually, right? There've just been no charges for a really long time. And Nancy O'Malley kept saying, it's justified, it's fine, we can move on. And that was how she conducted her office. And no matter how much pressure community put on or families put on, Nancy O'Malley just refused to do this. And she's not the only district attorney across this country that continues to do that, but she was kind of very stronghold about that. And then in 2022, Pamela Price was only once, yes, thank you for clarifying that, only once in her reign of terror. In 2022, in November, voters in Alameda County voted to bring in a new district attorney. I mean, Nancy O'Malley was not going to run again, but she beat the status quo and won on a platform around reform. And one of those reforms was to bring accountability to police for their violence that they commit against communities. And then after she took office, she was sworn in January, and then a few months later went public by saying that she was going to reopen 8 cases to re-examine them and look at their cases to see if she can charge them. Is this correct?
Yeah.
And then you're saying this Friday is the deadline.
Yeah, so she was sworn into office in January, and she actually announced the 8 cases being reopened in the end of January, I believe. And so also to be clear, she has a police accountability unit that's in charge of like looking into these cases. And gave, so this deadline of this Friday is like an arbitrary deadline that they gave themselves. It's nothing like, there's no legal standing to it. They just decided that in 120 business days is when we'll have a decision if we're pressing charges or not. And also for clarity, so we're demanding justice for all 8 cases, and also Eric's case was not involved in those and isn't one of the 8 cases. So we're also demanding that she add Eric to that list and charge those officers. Obviously, as well as all the officers for any officer involved fatality, we're pushing for. But this specific event is to highlight that. And like Amanda said, we're trying to have an event where we can like build community with each other. You know, people in power don't like it when we work together. And so a lot of our families have been working separately for so long. And so Amanda, myself, and Jerry, Mario's brother, have been meeting with different folks from different organizations about like what would it look like if we all partnered together, and what kind of power could that bring, but also what kind of healing could that bring for us to like be in community with each other and like spend time together and you know, dance with each other at the lake and have a good time, and like, you know, let them know that we're here, we're not stopping. Like, you know, for Augie's case, this is 5 years later, and we're still fighting. So like, we're not stopping, we're here no matter what. So I guess it's up to them if they want to continue to see us doing these events, or, you know, but let's be real, we're not going to stop even after. We're going to fight for everyone. So
That's what's up. That's what's up. I got goosebumps, girl. That gave me chills just thinking about like when you said like we are here to show what kind of power we have, but then also bring healing. And I like, you gave me chills from that, like just thinking about like that not only is it's like about collective power, but it's about collective healing. And I know that for your families, that it's so the healing sometimes feels so isolating and so alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then to be able to bring community together and to talk about what that healing also means for all of us collectively and for your families, I think is so powerful. And
yeah,
so I'm curious about like what does that look like for you all? How has it been for you all to like come together and like start really talking? Because like you were saying, Cynthia, it's been so isolating and so siloed. And so what has that looked like for your families to like really come together?
You want to go first, Amanda?
Yeah, sure. I think for me, it's been really humbling and affirming. I get a lot of love and a lot of wisdom, and it doesn't feel as alone when I'm like talking to other families and collaborating. And I get excited at the idea of throwing an event and having people from the community be more involved. You know, it's also like good reminder, like for us to just kind of keep fighting and like keep pushing and putting that pressure, because sometimes it can be very heavy, helpless. You know, there's good days, there's bad days. Like Cynthia said, like she's 5 years in this, like I'm sure that hasn't really changed the grief. I mean, for me, it's been 3 years. The grief can feel just as heavy every anniversary, every, you know, heavenly birthday, because those things don't change, you know, and it's up to us who are like, you know, like I have a responsibility to my brother. Cynthia has a responsibility to Augie. I work with Mario's family. I have a sense of responsibility for Mario's family and other families who will hopefully be joining us that day. And, you know, and it's something that should end and never should happen. And unfortunately, we keep seeing it happen, which is like, and then here's another thing too. You know, police are not afraid to kill people because there's no accountability there. And, you know, folks in the street, you know, for me, like, yeah, unless I really have to, but, you know, I would be afraid to obviously murder anyone, right? Because of the circumstances and the consequences that I might get, you know. And police are not afraid, you know, they have immunity and a Bill of Rights, you know, that protect them, and they get moved to other counties when they commit crimes. And so there's no fear there, you know. And so I'm fearful, you know, for other families. I would hate for anyone to experience anything like this, you know. So I think for me, it's the experience has been beautiful to be able to work with other families and just be present, you know, with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, I mean, Amanda says it best, is like it's so affirming. It's also in a strange way, it's it's like so triggering and so healing at the same time, you know? And it's because like we're reliving these like the worst days of our lives over and over. As we continue to fight, we continue to like reopen those wounds every single time we talk about it. Um, but we do it because like that's what we have to do. It's like the fight we're fighting for. And you know, like just speaking like for us, like we've had support from like organizations and from folks in community that we're so like eternally grateful for, but nobody understands the pain that like our families go through unless you've been through it. And I don't wish that on like my worst enemy. I don't want anyone to go through like what we continue to go through every day. So to be in space with people who understand and people that like can be there for you differently is something that like I'm really grateful for. And also it's just like I said, for so long it's been so isolating. It's been like our families like working like on our own and trying to figure out like what does justice look like. And like honestly, I still don't really have the answer to that. Like I still can't tell you exactly what justice is, because the reality of it is like the one thing in the world that we would want is to have our loved ones back, and that's not going to happen, you know. And the system and society wants to put some sort of like monetary value on our loved ones' lives, and it's sickening. It really is. So to be able to be in space with each other, to be able to throw something like this block party together where we can like not only fight for our loved ones but honor them. Like I mean, like Augie loved to dance, Augie loved to party, he loved to like, you know. And so to be able to bring our family together with Eric's family and Mario's family, and you know, we have other families that are showing up that you know we want to uplift too, is like it's like having a piece of them still with us to be able to be like with each other, and being able to enjoy those little moments of like gratitude and happiness, because they don't come super often, and figuring out like what's justice, what's healing, and how do we put all of that together, and like what does that look like. And you know, so much love for Amanda and Jerry and all the folks helping with this, because it would not have been possible without like our impacted families, that's for sure.
I mean, I feel like it's such a, I so appreciate like the vulnerability that you both are like practicing, and then also sharing with the rest of us around what that means, because you know it's like the news cycle moves on, right? And folks, unless we're constantly bringing up their remembrance and their memory and the lives that they lived and the impact that the murder by these police officers have had on your families and then on the community, like it's it you all are showing like through your everyday. And then what that means though for you all is that, you know, the opening up that part, I think a lot of folks don't remember that part, right? They don't remember that every time you have to talk about it, that it's like a reliving of that moment. And I know when DA Price shared that, that she was reopening the case, it was kind of a surprise to the rest of the community, right?
It was
and to the
it was
families.
a surprise to us. We didn't even know
Right.
she reopened Augie's case. She didn't even tell us. We
Right.
found out through Telemundo. And it's like we're
That's such a
asking
wild
for,
way.
yeah, and
Right.
you want us to like respect you, you know, doing this due diligence, but like how, you know, it's so triggering because when Augie passed, we found like information we found out about his case was also through like Telemundo, through, you know, through Fox, through like Amber Lee and like all these different people that like are literal news reporters and like couldn't even hear it from anyone's mouths themselves. Like it's so wild to me. And then the other thing is like when we do these events, when we like, I don't think people realize like how like it's not even just reopening the wounds, but it's also reopening, like people don't see how much hate we get for like this. Like we have to sit here and watch our loved ones' names get slandered through the mud, through people who never even knew Augie or Eric or Mario or anyone. Like people never knew Augie and are like making things up because they're on Facebook, like writing on keyboards and like commenting on news articles. And it's like, damn, y'all really quick to judge, but you have no idea who our loved ones were. Like you don't know anything about it. And so every time we do something like this, we're also opening ourselves up to like that hate again. And so like I guess I'm just asking people to be kind. Like y'all don't know us, you don't know our families, and I hope you never have to go through this shit, but like be kind. Like just like it's not that hard.
It's not that hard, y'all. It's not that hard. Like I think one of the biggest things is I try not to like engage folks on Twitter, but every once in a while I feel a little snarky and I feel a little like feisty. So I take on one person and, you know, they jump to all kinds of conclusions about like what it is that I'm trying to say or what it is that I stand for. And it's stupid, you know, and I sometimes will push back and just be trite and stupid. And, you know, I don't call anybody names, but it's like, that's great. You know, you don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know me, you know? And I think like that that's like some of that part where you're just like, just be nice, y'all. Just be kind. You don't know. You don't know where anybody is at. And so appreciate you sharing that too. And I wonder like if in this moment, if you all are open to it, tell us something good about your people. Tell us something good about Augie. Like what you told us a little bit about what he loved to do. Like he loved to dance. Amanda, if you're open to sharing, I don't want to put you on the spot, but given like so many people are coming at you with all of these things, like not to open up that wound about what happened, but tell us like something good about them.
Yeah, absolutely. And also to like what someone's put in the comments, to just like to be curious, right? Like for folks who don't know. I think that there's like an immense part of the community that definitely believes in law enforcement and like believe in the system. And the system is like doesn't even give justice. It's like an injustice system. And in particularly like with my brother, there was a lot of slandering. I mean, even now to this day. But you know, the things that they don't know about him is that he was, you know, a kind young parent, you know, a father, hardworking, loved the Cheetos, you know, loved the tacos, very family oriented, you know, just and he was my brother, you know what I mean? And like, you know, families are not perfect, but you know, we still have to love them and show them love regardless. And he was young, you know, he was 22 years young, going on 23. We're a month apart. You know, I'm 27 now, so he would have turned 27 this month in July. Actually, his birthday also lands this month. So, you know, that's what 3 years taken away from him that could have been an opportunity for him to continue working on himself and being a better person, you know. The chance that we're all given every day, the fact that we're even here right now talking and we have breath in our body, like let's be grateful for that, you know, because honestly, like the more that I'm learning too, and the more I'm like working with families, it's like we are borrowed our breath, we're borrowed our bodies, you know, this is a vessel, you know, and we're so attached to our material things, and it's like we need to be more grateful for earth and what earth gives to us and our relationship with the land. You know what I mean? And now my brother's, you know, probably sprouted into a flower, you know, and it's just back into the earth. And, you know, but that those seeds that, you know, he planted and left, you know, he has a daughter, you know, so, you know, building that relationship with my niece, and, you know, the fact that I'm even here, Cynthia's here, you know, and working with families, like, and continuing to push their stories out there. You know, it's a beautiful thing. And those people who are just negative, you know, yeah, like, definitely be more open-minded. And I think those people maybe have not been super impacted just yet, you know, or they turned a cheek, right, to what law enforcement really be doing. Like, they really be terrorizing our neighborhoods out here in Alameda County. They really shady, from OPD to highway to sheriff, unincorporated areas, you name it. So
I so appreciate you saying that. I was in, I had to travel somewhere and they were like, oh, you from Oakland? You know, you all got them gangs out there. And I said, oh yeah, you mean OPD? Yeah, we got them
Right.
gangs. We got them gangs. So what about you? What about you, Cynthia? What would you like all those folks out there to know about Augie?
Yeah, I mean, I think people would just, if they knew who Augie was in general, like, he was the funniest person you would ever meet in your life. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, that man could make any, like, we would be in like dead silence, like, I, doing something so serious, and he would pop off with something out of pocket all the time. Like, you could always count on it. And like, didn't even care who was around. Like, it would be like, we'd be sitting with my grandma, and my grandma would be like, oh, mijo, like, just shocked all the time. Like, he had all the jokes, like, as soon as he walked in the room, like, everyone was like already smiling. And like, I know that sounds so cliche, but like, there's no other way to describe it. Like, he was the funniest person. He cared so deeply about his family. Like, we have a very big family, and we are like so close. Like, us cousins, we grew up like siblings. Like, we did everything together. Like, as an adult, I realized, I was like, dang, people don't hang out with their family as much as like my family does. Like, it is so wild. And like, we laugh about it, but it's like, it's true, because like, that's one thing, is I'm so grateful for the memories, and the memories that we had. And, you know, like, he taught us, like, as kids, he taught us everything we needed to know about WWF wrestling and all the moves. And, you know, he also, like, he, like, I just wish that people could just see little clippets of like Augie's life, because he was literally the kindest, funniest person that anyone could ever like come into contact with, and like would do anything for anyone. Like, if you called him at like 3 a.m. and was like, yo, I need help, like, he'd be there in 5 minutes. He loved Disneyland. Like, he loved Disneyland. He would call me. He worked night shift at Tesla. He'd call me at 6 a.m. and I, like, 6 times, because I'm sleeping. And I'd be like, what do you want? He'd be like, let's go to Disneyland. I'm like, it is 6 a.m. fool. I'm not going to Disneyland. He'd be like, I'll be at your house in 10 minutes. And we'd end up in Disneyland. I'm not even kidding.
What?
Like, we just go for the day and come home. Like, you know, he's a cousin of many. You know, my aunt and my uncle, their only son. My cousin Christina, her only brother. I can't imagine the grief that they go through every day, you know, because I know the grief that we go through every day, and losing an only son and only brother. But man, he, I don't mind answering these questions, because I love talking about Augie and like who he, like, I love talking about who Augie was as a person, rather than always having to talk about like this one moment that has like tried to define his life at this point.
Right.
And like, he has 2 beautiful children who, you know, are struggling, but man, they're just like him. They look just like, they're getting older, like, they're teenagers now, so like, they're, you know, going into high school and in high school, and they're like just like their dad. Their sense of humor is just like him. They look just like him. Like, and they love to talk about him. So whenever we get to see them, they just want to hear stories about, tell us again about my dad when he did this, or tell us again about like my dad and his Christmas shoes he showed up to every Christmas with. Like, they love to hear the stories, and like that's something that, like, you know, we'll cherish, because like we get to share that with them, but we see him in them, and it's such a privilege to see, you know, and I'm so grateful that like we get to continue to have them in our lives, and just see like a glimpse of Augie still through them. It's really beautiful.
I so appreciate you both sharing those. Like, now I'm gonna be like, Disneyland, I'm gonna have a different appreciation for Disneyland, even though I probably would never go. But like, and then Cheetos, you know, I'm gonna have like a love for a different love for those Cheetos in a different way. Cheetos with limon. Okay, y'all.
You have to like really put it in there, not just that. You gotta get a real limon and like squeeze it in there. Yeah.
It's like soup.
Is it the hot Cheetos or just regular Cheetos?
You said what? You said
Hot
what,
Cheetos or the lemon? I mean, just regular.
So you get the hot Cheetos with lemon, and then you add a real lemon juice in there, and then you eat it just like that.
It's
Your
so
fingers are
juicy,
gonna
you
be
gotta eat it with-
tint.
yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't
I know
Y'all
it.
didn't know you were coming today to get this lesson today. You didn't know, but now you do. So,
This IG Live is brought to you by Hot Cheetos.
yes, sponsor us now. Now you know.
Yeah, really.
Yes. You know, I just think about like what you're just sharing, like the humanity of Eric and the humanity of Augie, and I've heard stories about of Mario as well, and all of, you know, and I think for me that's one of the things that you kind of touched upon, Amanda, is that people can go to that place really quickly, not only because they believe in the police, but they believe that these people were not human. You know, it's so easy to think you need to almost believe that they have no humanity, because then that's the only way you can punish them. That's the only way you can be okay with their death. It's the only way that you can be like, I can lock these people up. And like, when people come at, you know, folks who are like abolitionists, who are like, we need to remove this. We need to break this system up. We need to stop incarceration. We need to find a different way. Is that we're talking about creating a system that actually believes in everybody's humanity, regardless, that we all have humanity. Like, what makes it okay for us to go and bomb and kill all kinds of people around the world, start wars, right? And ask our people to like pick up guns so they can kill other people, so that they need to believe that North Korean, that Palestinian, that whatever is evil, or that they are mindless, or that they are not human, or they're not good enough, or right, they're not blessed, or whatever, all of these things, in order to justify that need, that for whatever reason, right? And so like for me, that's such a like trapping of like capitalism. It's such a trapping of, in the United States, white supremacy, right? Like the idea around this is like, that to me is what, when we are asking the district attorney, or we're demanding the district attorney, and big shout out to the DA accountability table and all the organizations that sit there, because it didn't just happen, didn't form because of Pam Price, y'all. It happened way before that. And that they have been working, we have been working together, our organizations have been working together to demand that the DA just have a look at the humanity of everybody, right? And to believe that everybody's life matters enough for us to create systems that then isn't one just about, let's just kill them, let's just punish them, let's just put them away. And so that we don't have to see them. They are not part of our community. But when we do that, we're pulling them out of another we're pulling them out of the impact that it's had on families, the impact that it has on a community, to remove someone's like presence and being, right? Like, so I say all that was a long, felt a little preachy, but I just wanted to just share with you, like, thank you for sharing, like, remind people of Eric's humanity, of Augie's humanity, of Mario's humanity, of Oscar Grant's humanity, like, of all of these people's humanity. They were human beings that had worth.
Yeah. And the other thing is like, regardless if someone commits a crime or not, right? Cops aren't supposed to kill guilty people either, first of all. Second of all, like being in a mental health crisis shouldn't be a death sentence. Like driving your car shouldn't be a death sentence. Walking in a park shouldn't be a death sentence. Like there's no justification for what is happening, like with the way that the cops are handling situations. There's nothing that you can tell me that will justify them murdering Augie or Eric or Mario or Oscar or, you know, all these different people. Like there's nothing you can tell me that's going to justify that, because that's not your job. Like that's not what you're there for. Like this system was built on racism. This system was built to criminalize Black and brown folks, and like people don't realize that. Like people just think like our society hammers it in our heads at such a young age that the police are here to protect you. The police are here to protect you. But it's like, what would it mean if instead of jailing somebody for substance use needs, to like provide them with resources to like for rehabilitation? Like what would that mean? But instead they throw people in jail because they make hella money off of incarcerating us. They make so much money because, as you mentioned, capitalism is like so, like, y'all, people don't realize these people be working in cahoots with each other. Like it is so wild. Like they make money off of every single person that they incarcerate. They make money off of every young person. It cost in Alameda County upwards of $800,000 per youth per year to incarcerate. Like, can you imagine what that could do for families to like support their young folks? Like, people don't realize this stuff, and it's like these are the narratives that like we want to uplift. These are the things that we want to talk to community about. We throw events like this because we want people to see the humanity. We want people to see the love that like our communities can have together, instead of the hate and the narrative that the media like puts in about like our loved ones and about our communities. Like what would it mean for us to control that narrative, you know? And that's something we can try and do at the block party on Friday, you know?
That's what's up. That's what's up. Like I just think about like all the ways in which they what I hear often too, right, is journalists will say things like, well, we need to know their full picture. People need to know, but they never include the ways in which they were like brothers or sisters or community members, how they wanted to drive to Disneyland any time of day, right? Like, and how, you know, those things are not included in the narrative. Never.
It's always, they stole a candy bar when they were 5 years old. It's like, okay, and
shit.
Oh my God, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started, girl. Because all that stuff was irrelevant. Like none of that was even known. You know, like they did that to my brother. You know, like once they killed him, then they dug into his past. And then that's what I'm saying. They use that to push like whatever narrative and story to justify the way that they murdered them. And it's like all of that was irrelevant. Like it has nothing to do with nothing. You know, like my brother was unarmed. Like stop playing. So what threat was he causing? You know, so
what and in that moment was the cop like looking it up and saying
they had a full profile
already and he did that shit?
Right.
Nah.
No.
They were not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate this. I appreciate, like, I didn't know that this conversation was going that direction, but like I appreciate so much the love, the healing, the collective power, the like coming together. that piece of that work, and then also like you both sharing your hearts with us. I so appreciate you, and I'm really looking forward to Friday, because just like that collective energy to push, to like celebrate too, even if whatever the DA decides, right? Whatever comes out of that information that that they're reopening the cases to look at the evidence again, like whatever comes of that, there's still a celebration of life. There's still a celebration of community. And so let's drop some details. Let's let folks know where and when and how, and where they need to show up, what they need to come with.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's get off camera.
So the event is going to be taking place at Lake Merritt. It's right on the corner of 14th and Lakeside. So it's actually right in front of the sheriff and DA's office. There's a grass area by the lake right across the street. So that's where we'll be set up. We'll have some like canopies if needed. It sounds like the weather's going to be like almost perfect on Friday. So we'll have some tables out. We'll have a DJ that will be able to dance and just like enjoy the time with each other. I would suggest folks to bring like maybe a blanket or something to sit on just in case. And yeah, it's from 4 to 7.
Yeah.
Let's say 4 until the party stops, right?
Hey,
Yeah.
is there going to be an altar or anything like that? Like people can bring what they might want to offer?
Yeah, there is. We're gonna have like an altar table, and we're gonna try to do the 4 directions there. And yeah, bring a picture, whatever. Write your loved one's name on a piece of paper. We could put it on there too, because I know some folks don't have pictures too. So yeah, definitely have something to honor for them.
Yeah, and if you want to share any offerings, anything for the altar, we would love to have it. Yes, it is right by that old house. I never remember the name of it, but yes. And yeah, we'll have some food.
You know what? Just
think,
come to 14th and Lakeside and here for the music, y'all, because it's gonna be something.
That part, yeah, we will definitely be dancing. You'll see us. So, you know, bring the babies. It's the lake. We're gonna have a good time. Bring your little ones. We'll probably be able to have some like chalk and bubbles for the young ones. I know like my little primos love to like dance too. So, hopefully we'll see everybody out there. And you know, we're just really excited to just spend time with each other. These last few months have been really hard with the reopening of the case, so to be able to just be with each other and enjoy each other's company is going to be it's going to be really nice. We'll have other families. Also, just like to make the plug, that same morning Jason Fletcher goes to trial for the murder of Stephen Taylor. So for folks who are available and free to come out and support Grandma Addie and Stephen's family in their fight too, we'll be there in the morning, and then we'll be dancing in the evening.
Yeah, a full day.
Yeah, full day. So come out, enjoy, celebrate with us. It's a celebration of life, but also like asking the district attorney to for the district attorney's office for the first time in the history of the district attorney's office to like find a way to bring some humanity to their policies, brings humanity to their decision making, and that's what we're asking for, is that this type of reform is one that not only was on her platform when she ran for district attorney, but is one that the community is and has been for many, many, many years demanding. So, so love to you both. I appreciate you both. I can't wait to be out there with you all. Again, 14th and Lakeside, Friday, 4 to whenever to 7 p.m., but to the party ends. Bring your love, bring things to bring to the altar, to share. And then where can folks find you all? Like both, I know they can follow Courage, they can follow Urban Peace Movement, but you all signed in with your specific IG handles, if you want to share that here.
Yeah, so my page, Justice for Eric Salgado. I think we still have a petition up in the bio for the link tree. Please sign the petition, y'all. We're going to have flyers that day that will also have a QR code to all of our IGs and information that y'all can do if y'all want to support also offline. So,
yeah. And the Instagram that I signed in with is the Justice for Augie Instagram. So if folks want to just plug in, know a little bit more about what's been happening with Augie's case, and know a little bit about who Augie was, we try and do our best to get on here. So right now you'll see a ton of countdown pictures to Friday. So would love to tap in with y'all, and yeah.
I see some of my folks hopped on the live. Shout out to people supporting us. Hey.
All these
I know, I see
all these
my primas on here and
hey
some friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Shout out to you.
Yeah, sending everybody the love. Thank you for joining us. Thank you again for telling your story, telling us about those beautiful, loving, heartfelt stories about your loved ones, about Augie and about Eric. And we'll see you all on Friday. Thanks,
Yeah,
y'all.
Be there or be square.
Hey.
Yeah, we'll see y'all. Bye, everyone.